I'm here today at RCGP Central College for the first ever Faculty Educator Leads Conference.
People are flying in everywhere from Belfast and Edinburgh to London and Wales.
I was really excited when I saw the invitation. I think it's excellent to get all of the education leads from the regions.
It's a really good experience, great chance to meet other people who are exploring and developing educational programs, great chance to get ideas and learn from other people in the room.
We've got a wealth of knowledge between us, so we've come together to hopefully have quite a stimulating day to generate ideas on which direction we want CPD to go from the college, and also how we roll that out to reach all of our general practitioners in the country.
Having a wealth of educational experience in the room is phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to the outcomes for today.
To introduce myself, I'm the Vice Chair of Professional Development at the college, which means I have sort of officer oversight of everything from GP training all the way through MRCGP, the exam, and then into professional development and how that fits with what we're trying to do. And probably is, in my mind anyway, is the core of the college. It's how we help GPs do the job that they're doing on the work floor every day, and how you then help support them at the faculty level. I do know that it's hard work being a faculty education lead. I want faculties to be at the core of our CPD outlook. We've got 4 aims that have been agreed by Council for the direction of CPD. At the top of that is the faculty development. We have a second aim, which is a strategic partnership. We've been trying to work with outside providers to produce things that members will want. Particularly if you want to find a CPD resource, you have to sort of dig and hope. One of those things that needs to be done is we create a taxonomy, and people can then search and find their way through it. And we hope that that will allow you as CPD education leads and faculties to find what is available already, so you don't duplicate, but will also allow us to flag to members what is being done around the college. Finally, our communications. That's the purpose of today, really, is that people can share what you're doing, what is being done so well in some areas that can be passed on to others and learn from each other. And then we have a future that we're sort of dreaming about at the moment, is how we let other people know what happens across the whole breadth of our CPD. We have specialist conferences and courses going on all the time, and again, we can tap into it, and we're trying to see how we can develop the on-demand features of that, so people who don't get to London or don't get to wherever that's being held in the country can log in or pay for it or whatever's needed. And we have national events. I'm hoping that our national conference will become a CPD showcase of what's happening, but at the core of it you'll see is the faculty. That's very deliberate, and using the expertise that sometimes sits here to build courses, to build events that will actually be relevant to your members and to your colleagues wherever they are. It's you telling us what CPD you're doing and how we can help. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to tell you about an event that we ran earlier in the year, which actually was for foundation doctors, and we just invited them along, gave them some food, and talked to them about how training would work and how life as a GP was, and actually they were very engaged.
So our courses, you get people coming on a course, don't you, and they're experts at that course, and so they like to come, so you pick the CPD that you're good at. Then there's the people who are poor at it, and they come because they really would like the CPD, and the thing that we think is success is if we can get the people who are poor at CPD, at that particular topic, to feel that not only is it new knowledge or up-to-date knowledge, but they can actually use it.
One of the better events we've run recently has been a Child Protection Study Day. But what we've done is use social services to deliver the majority of the session, which has been really effective.
One of the things that helped first and foremost was we started off with an icebreaker. So I got to know everyone around the table, which means that when you're sharing ideas, you become a lot more comfortable at sitting around the table. So that certainly did help.
An event that we did recently was AIT First 5 Joint Wellbeing Day.
One of the things that we do every year is a research symposium in the Midland faculty.
It's about offering support to to our colleagues, especially the young GPs, the ones who are new to your area. And I find the most rewarding bit when I get a new GP contact me and say, I've moved to the area, I don't know where I am, what I'm doing. And to get that person in and, show them the ropes, bringing a social element to it.
A good educational event, the one that springs to mind is one that we held a few months ago on telephone triage, which I'm a great fan of telephone triage. I think it's the way forward for managing demand.
My mantra really is planning, preparation, post-event evaluation and learning from that to hold better events in the future or different events.
Creating an environment where people can come in and relearn and get a refresher on ophthalmoscopy and oroscopy and pelvic examinations for male GPs and things like that is something that people haven't been brave enough to volunteer, but they've actually been quite well received.
One of the main things that we did, which was quite successful, was a veteran health course.
So we had a fantastic first ever wellbeing event just 5 days ago, and it was run on a Saturday and it was free, and we were worried about, it's at the weekend, but we had about 40 really engaged GPs, and more importantly we had trainees and mid-career GPs and end-of-career GPs, so we obviously engaged at different levels.
I think what this is a community of practice, and in terms of education, we are bringing that community of practice together into the Central College. This conference is a way to support each other.
We all know there's information overload. If we had a look 10 years ago, you'd have to read at least 10 papers a day to keep up to date as a GP. That's impossible. You've got busy consultations, busy surgeries. So the whole point of the Essential Knowledge Updates programme is we take that job away from you. We search out the new and latest information, including guidelines, research papers, reviews, and we really tease out practice-changing information for you, for your patients, written by GPs for GPs. There's also, as I say, podcasts. There's the screencasts which are freely available. You don't need to be a member to access those. Also, we do a monthly search for the Journal Watch and Hot Topics, so we pick out some of the top practice-changing papers every month and publish that. And again, that's freely available on the website. So it really is for you guys. Thank you for your time anyway. Thank you.
I'm taking a lot of ideas from here. So especially Essential Knowledge website. I think that's something would be useful for me, and I might be able to use that in our future education events as well.
So the session on the EKU programme was really useful. It was great to hear about the regular analysis of the evidence that's coming out, save time for us as clinical practitioners, and it's something that I personally use and I hope we'll start to use more in our faculties.
We have the repository of all this experience in the room. And I think my objectives, and objectives being a key point of this whole session, my objective is really to distill all this wisdom, experience and enthusiasm into some key points. The objectives of this session are to plan the course, to design a course using the expertise. Initially it said you're going to be in 4 groups, but just stay on your tables. To work with colleagues, discussing some of the issues that you may have come out with. To develop skills and to hear about skills so that you can take things forward, and to think about feedback. Your challenge, because you all know how to run courses, is really to think about the objectives and your evaluation. We are now in the world of primary care networks, and we are going to be working with people who may not have any experience of primary care, who are in the minority, paramedics, PAs, physios. They are in the minority, they have no community of practice, and they're going to be coming along, I hope, to some GP workshops. Off you go.
On to actually planning an event from scratch, all the way to developing ideas as to how we would go about getting evaluation and feedback from it, and everything that's involved in between that, including finding your attendees, people who are going to deliver the education that you're planning, as well as the content and the more practical aspects.
Yeah, so I was on a table with people I'd never met before, all involved in education. It was really, really exciting, all doing completely different things, people from Ireland, I'm obviously from East Anglia, and just sharing ideas. Worked really, really well.
I think overall there was lots of opportunities to feedback and to ask questions about a lot of the issues that we discussed.
The plan was a big event, a half day. It was mainly a series of workshops and breakout with all sorts of things in it. We've got, up in Edinburgh, we've got some physios who are doing Pilates and yoga.
Our structure was a 3-hour session. The objectives were so individually there would be an experiential learning around quality improvement and understanding the importance of the Daffodil Standards that are the new UK standards for end-of-life care for general practice.
Use it as an interactive session to try to firstly get secondary care and other professionals involved, because the incentive there is to reduce referral or make referrals more targeted, more appropriate.
We felt that the course could cater to not just the doctors but also the nurses, the paramedics, when we talked about the wider primary care initially. And we talked about having a plenary initially about how general practice works.
So it's a great opportunity to get new ideas for sessions to take away. In particular, there were discussions about how we could do sessions where you bring along your baby, and reaching out to members who maybe aren't as involved all the time. So finding new ways of bringing people into the fold.
Have a workshop on safeguarding if people wanted to do their mandatory learning at the time. And also having an HR component for practice managers as to how to manage staff effectively.
In terms of venue, we would probably do it at a central venue with good parking, somewhere accessible on an evening for about 2 hours.
My love would be if we could have our appraisals linked to our actual certificates and things, so we could actually understand how many people use it for their appraisals as well and how it's increasing their learning.
Because people will go away with ideas, but the real question is, did it make a difference in the long run? But we could see all sorts of potential about really improving communication between multidisciplinary teams, which I think is critically important.
Isn't it fantastic the way every single group has been able to come out with the gold star in terms of something that we can take away, and just thank you for that.
It was great fun. I'm completely buzzing from this. It's great.
Often people, when talking about education, just focus solely on the content and what they want to deliver and have very little consideration of the other things involved. I think shows how forward-thinking the RCGP are at trying to get people to think more holistically about education, which is fantastic to see.
So I'm going to be talking you through marketing and communications for a faculty course or event. Starting off with your planning and resources, and obviously your main aim will be how many places to fill, bums on seats on the day or night. But beyond that, who is going to be coming to this course that will participate in the way that will make it most effective for everyone? And also, moving on from that, will then give you the best feedback to help you promote courses in the future. Then you'll start to build your key messages. Supporting GPs to improve patient care and enabling them to update their knowledge.
So finances. I'm going to run through a really typical example and just have an opportunity for discussion. I've made some assumptions in the example that I'm about to put up. How do you work out how much you should be charging comfortably for your delegates?
So, as Tina said, we just wanted to do a bit of an interactive discussion at the end to get your thoughts on what your faculty needs in terms of support and which direction we want to make a priority. We're here to kind of listen to you and your faculties.
At the beginning of the session, we talked about the 5 faculty support priorities, such as webinar, safeguarding, professional conversations, EKU, and educator training. What do you think going forward our top 3 priorities should be for faculty support? So in terms of some of the top 3 priorities, we've got understanding the funding streams, access to speakers, shared learning platforms, SAGE financial package training, web-based learning.
We're here to support our members first and foremost, but we're also here to look after the standards of the profession. That's what a professional body does. And professional development is all about that. It's about supporting the members and it's about upholding the standards of the profession. And it's useful just to remind ourselves of that occasionally from time to time. Professional development isn't just running an event or going to an event or collecting CPD credits. It's about that mindset of being a professional, of being committed and aligned with the idea of always wanting to improve your practice. That's what it means to be a professional. So being involved in professional development in a professional body, you're at the core of the whole purpose of the organisation. You have that key important role. The faculties are the point at which all of our professional development touches our members. It's the main means in which we engage with our members. So thank you all very much for your time.
It's a really good experience, great chance to meet other people who are exploring and developing educational programs, great chance to get ideas and learn from other people in the room.
I thought it was a fantastic day. It was really energising to meet loads of colleagues from all over the country and to hear about what they've been up to. Just learning so much from each other. Fantastic networking event.
The support is fantastic. Having these sort of events in the future is absolutely vital, and it's very, very important because these are often springboards to developing a whole generation of educators who can then go on and teach future clinicians on how to put on education.
I think events like this are fantastic, and I think the more of them that we can do, the better.
We learn so much, and I think meeting up together and speaking to each other, sharing ideas, you just can't beat it.